What if you had only minutes to escape a devastating natural disaster? This is a gripping Norwegian thriller story that plunges you into a race against time as a family fights for survival when nature unleashes its fury. Let's dive into this heart-pounding story of destruction, bravery, and resilience. The film begins in Geiranger, a picturesque Norwegian village nestled between stunning fjords and majestic mountains. It is a place of natural beauty but also immense danger. Our protagonist, Christian, is a seasoned geologist who has spent much of his career monitoring the mountain. However, his time in Geiranger is coming to an end as he prepares to move with his wife, Idun, and their two children, Sundre and Julia, to start a new chapter in the city. As Christian packs up his belongings on his final day at the monitoring station, he notices subtle but alarming changes in the mountain's readings. The data suggests increased movement deep within the rock, but his colleagues dismiss his concerns. Despite reassurances, Christian is unable to ignore his gut feeling. The tension builds as he struggles between his professional instincts and the pressure to move on. As they prepare to leave, they run into their neighbor. Idun tells them that Christian, Sandre, and Julia are departing on a ferry while she needs to stay behind for 2 more days to complete her work. Christian gazes at the mountains, a sense of unease washing over him. As Christian prepares to leave for the ferry with Julia and Sandre, an uneasy feeling takes hold of him. Trusting his instincts, he decides to turn back and head to the early warning center, assuring both of them that he won't be long. Meanwhile, Idun heads to the hotel for work. At the center, Christian explains to his colleagues that the sudden disappearance of groundwater indicates a significant rise in pressure within the mountain. Determined not to rely solely on the equipment, he decides to carry out a physical inspection of the mountainside to verify his suspicions. Christian and Jacob decide to go to the monitoring points on Åkerneset. The rugged terrain, with its steep cliffs and unstable ground, underscores the ever-present threat looming over Geiranger. The tension escalates when Christian and Jacob discover that the sensor wires have been severed. This discovery solidifies Christian's belief that urgent action is necessary. However, back at the monitoring center, Christian's warnings are met with doubt. His colleagues, relying on the stability of previous readings, downplay the severity of the situation. Christian decides to leave but realizes Sandre and Julia are missing. He heads to Idun's hotel and finds them there. A heated argument ensues between Christian and Idun, with her criticizing his irresponsible behavior. Sandre chooses to stay at the hotel, while Christian and Julia decide to return home. Meanwhile, back at the monitoring center, Mikael notices anomalies in the data and wakes Margot. Arvid suggests taking fresh readings to verify the situation. Arvid and Jacob decide to conduct a physical inspection at the mountainside. As they descend, the instability of the mountain becomes increasingly evident. Small rockslides tumble in the distance, and the eerie sound of shifting stone reverberates through the fjord. Jacob and Arvid relay their findings back to the monitoring station, confirming the alarming data. At home, Christian reviews the older records and pieces together the gravity of the situation. Realizing the mountain is on the verge of collapse, he urgently calls the station, instructing Jacob and Arvid to leave the mountain immediately. As they begin their ascent, the inevitable happens. The mountainside crumbles. The ground beneath them gives way. Amid the chaos, they manage to alert Margot at the station, who triggers the red alert, sending alarms blaring throughout the village. A massive section of Åkerneset crashes into the fjord, unleashing devastation. In a heroic act, Arvid sacrifices himself to save Jacob. The impact generates an 85-meter-high tsunami. The town has just 10 minutes to evacuate before the wave engulfs everything in its path. Recognizing the urgency, Christian quickly leaves with Julia to seek safety. On the way, he calls Idun to inform her that he plans to come to the hotel. However, Idun decides to stay behind to help evacuate the guests and urges Christian to prioritize his own safety instead. Christian makes the decision to head to higher ground for safety as panic spreads and residents desperately try to flee. Encountering a roadblock, he abandons the car and starts climbing on foot, urging others to do the same. He tells Julia to run ahead as fast as she can, but stays behind to assist a woman who has become trapped. As the waves draw closer, Christian realizes it will be impossible to reach the safety zone with the woman in time. With no other choice, he helps her back into the car and locks the doors. From inside, he watches the massive wave crash, obliterating everything in its path. Meanwhile, Idun works tirelessly to ensure all the hotel guests evacuate safely, with the bus ready to leave. However, Sandra's impulsive actions leave him trapped inside the hotel with Idun. She eventually finds him in the basement, and together they try to catch the bus, only to discover it has already departed. They spot the massive wall of water rushing toward them. Realizing there's no time to escape, they decide to take refuge in the bomb shelter. With the waves crashing into the hotel, flooding and destroying everything in their path, they manage to secure themselves inside, slamming the door shut moments before the flood overtakes them. Christian finds Julia on higher ground, their reunion a small relief amid the chaos. The scene starkly highlights nature's power and humanity's vulnerability. The aftermath of the wave is a scene of utter devastation. Geiranger is unrecognizable. With Julia safe, he turns his focus to rescuing Idun and Sandra, who are trapped in the flooded remains of the hotel. Inside the hotel, Idun fights to keep herself and Sandra alive. The water level continues to rise, and every second brings them closer to drowning. Idun's strength and resourcefulness shine as she finds ways to keep Sandra calm. Christian's journey to reach the hotel is fraught with danger. Navigating through the wreckage, he faces countless obstacles from unstable structures to freezing water. His relentless resolve keeps him going, even as his own life is repeatedly put at risk. Water begins to flood the shelter, leaving Idun and Sandra with little time. Christian, searching frantically, finds Sandra's bag and assumes the worst. Overcome with grief, he bangs on the walls, catching Idun's attention. Realizing someone is nearby, Idun and Sandra signal back. Christian dives into the submerged ruins, and with Idun's help, they open the door. Idun escapes to safety while Christian rescues Sandra, calming him before they take one last swim. Sandra reaches the staircase, but Christian begins to drown. Idun dives back to pull Christian out. She performs CPR in vain until Sandra takes over, pleading with his father to wake up. Finally, Christian regains consciousness and the family embraces. Later, Julia, heartbroken, watches a helicopter leave. Moments later, she spots her family approaching. Overjoyed, she races to her mother's arms. Reunited, the family joins the survivors, grateful to be alive. Christian's instincts and courage saved his family. If this gripping story of survival and courage left you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more intense story recaps.